Fast, focused, and fearless. Here's everything you need to know as you jumpstart your day. I'm Diego Castro. The Coast Guard reports an oil spill off the coast of Nawan Oriental, Mindoro. This came from the MT Princess Empress, which capsized on Tuesday and was carrying 800,000 liters of industrial oil. Based on its aerial surveillance, the oil spill was around 5 kilometers long and 500 meters wide. Authorities said all 20 crew members aboard the vessel have been safely rescued and brought to shore. The Environment Department said the oil tanker encountered engine trouble, resulting to it being half submerged. The agency assured the public that it's monitoring any impact to biodiversity and livelihood in the area. Around 100,000 UV Express and jeepney drivers are expected to participate in a week-long transport strike next week. Transport groups say they will stop the massive strike only if the LTFRB chooses to drop its June 30 deadline for PUV modernization. Gerard De La Peña with the details.
Tens of thousands of jeepney and UV Express units are set to take part in the planned week-long transport strike starting March 6. Some drivers have already prepared for the strike.
Sasama kami. Kasi kung talagang haharangin ng bawat isa, wala na kaming magawa.
But some transport groups like Pasang Masda said that its members will not participate.
Hindi kaya ng isang tsuper ang tigil pasada ng 1 week. Hindi ko sinisiraan ang manubela na yan. Pero based on my experience, hindi kami umabot ng 1 week.
But the remarks of other transport groups caught the ire of Manibela President Marval Buena. He said they will push through with the strike and that they will no longer heed the Transport Department's call for a dialogue.
Wala na po ng dialogo. I will stand on my ground. Itutuloy na lang namin ito kung ganyan po na nagyayabangan na lang tayo.
Transportation Secretary Jaime Bautista said that he has spoken to Valbuena and invited him for a meeting. But Valbuena was firm in saying that there will no longer be talks between his group and the DOTR, which was scheduled on Tuesday afternoon. Bautista said that he will talk to the officials of the Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board to tackle Manibela's concerns. Valbuena complained of inconsistent policies regarding the consolidation program. He said processing of applications were put to a halt in 2020. But the LTFRB changed the rules when the applications for the formation of cooperatives resumed in 2021. Valbuena said that operators should join existing cooperatives in particular routes instead of forming new ones.
Ano pa yung essence nun? So nag-form kami, gumastos kami dun sa kooperatiba, naghirap kami, isasama mo rin pala kami. And then, dahil ipit na kami ngayon, magme-membro ako sa iba, ano yung kapalit nito? Mas mataas na membership fee.
Valbuena said that 3 to 4 months won't be enough to join or form cooperatives. For the LTFRB's part, Bautista said they will discuss amongst themselves if the recent memo, which put a June 30 deadline for operators to join cooperatives, will be withdrawn. Bautista added that some modern PUVs and UV Express operators have committed to continue operations next week. Other agencies like the MMDA and the Philippine Coast Guard, meanwhile, will provide trucks and buses should there be stranded passengers. For News 5, Gerard De La Peña, We Are One News.
Senators are also joining calls to postpone the scheduled phase-out of traditional jeepneys. On Tuesday, the Senate adopted a resolution strongly urging the LTFRB not to enforce the June 30 deadline for PUV modernization. The resolution's author, Senator Grace Poe, calls this deadline inhumane and contrary to public welfare. Senators also fear that the strike could lead to a transport crisis. Lawmakers at the upper house are now targeting to hold a hearing on the PUV modernization on Thursday, March 2. We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here in One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Diego Castro. Senators expressed dismay over the House's proposal to amend the Constitution, noting that the move is too expensive. One of them is Senator Robin Padilla, who continues to push for amending economic provisions but disagrees with Congress's proposal for a constitutional convention. Mian Los Baños with a report.
Senator Robin Hood Padilla insists on focusing on economic provisions such as entry of foreign investors in amending the Constitution. Padilla says the most efficient way for this is for the Congress to convene itself as a constituent assembly, allowing it to directly propose amendments to the Constitution come election time. However, the lower house is pushing for a conduct of a constitutional convention, where an election by the people will first be conducted to determine the delegates of such convention. Padilla points out that the costs necessary for the election and per diems of the CONCON delegates will hurt the national budget.
Constitutional Assembly po, kami pa rin po. Kasi mas mura po yun at mas madali pong gawin. Kung tungkol lang naman po kasi sa economic provision ng Constitution, kami na lang, wag na natin masyadong pahirapin pa. Ang gusto lang naman natin, pumasok dito yung mga foreign investor. Naglabas yung NEDA, election pa lang, 28 billion na. Wala pa yung gastos ng pasweldo sa mga CONCON delegates, opisina nila. Siyempre, meron din yan, malaki yan.
The House also did not set limits on the provisions that they would be amending once discussions on CHA-CHA starts. This means even political provisions, including term extension for elected officials of the government, can possibly be inserted.
Pinag-usapan natin ng political structure ng bansa. Mga mahal kong kababayan, litawan na dyan ang kanya-kanyang interest sa politika. Ang haba po niya. Economic provision lang tayo talaga muna. Sa akin, doon lang muna tayo sa pinakamatipid. Hindi natin masyadong sasyakin ng taong bayan na eleksyon na naman. May eleksyon na ng barangay, may eleksyon na naman para sa CONCON. Parang lagi na lang tayo nag-i-eleksyon po.
Padilla does not discount the possibility of a deadlock in case the House and Senate would not agree on what provisions in the Constitution to revise. The senator is convinced that there is higher chance his colleagues in the Senate will approve of CHA-CHA if it will focus first on economic provisions. But this early, several lawmakers in the upper house have already closed their doors to CHA-CHA. Senator Rizzo Ontiveros believes charter change is not what the country needs at this moment, especially as Filipinos are suffering from other problems like high inflation. Ontiveros says lawmakers should do away with the tale of make-believe that CHA-CHA will solve the nation's challenges. Senator Nancy Binay meanwhile reminds Congress that President Marcos himself already said that CHA-CHA is not a priority under his administration. Binay said what should be prioritized right now are solutions to problems, not CONCON, not CHA-CHA. Senator Sonny Angara meanwhile keeps an open mind on CHA-CHA, but he commented that CONCON is a very pricey way of revising the Constitution, including the 10,000 peso per diem or daily allowance for delegates. This Thursday, the Senate will start its public consultations regarding charter change. There will be a hearing in Davao, next in Luzon and Visayas. Reporting for News 5, Mian Los Baños, we are One News.
Adamson University confirms the passing of one of its students who was reported missing since mid-February. Authorities found the body of the 24-year-old student John Matthew Salilig dumped and buried at a vacant lot in Imus, Cavite. The victim's brother says Salilig went missing after attending a welcoming party of the Tau Gamma Phi fraternity in Binyan, Laguna, which turned out to be initiation rites. According to the investigation of the Binyan police, the victim was beaten up before his death, causing him to grow weak and vomit. The PNP is now eyeing to file charges against around 16 to 18 individuals involved in the alleged hazing.
Papailan natin sila ng yung violation ng sa anti-hazing law natin At ito ay may kaparusahang reclusion perpetua.
The past year has been a time for growth and self-reflection for actress Liza Soberano. The former teen star is embracing a new chapter in her life. As an artist, and as a brand ambassador. Liza has just been introduced as the new Chief Advocacy Officer of fintech firm Maya. The former Kapamilya actress is busy pursuing a career in the U.S. after signing with James Reid's record label and management agency, Careless Music.
I always had this idea of what a leading lady or, someone of my status should be portrayed in the media. Now that I've grown and gained my independence, I realized that I'd rather do more meaningful work and with purpose and intention than have like a bunch of different work that, I'm not the most proud of or I'm not that involved in.
And that's it for this hour. Join us again at 7:45 a.m. as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. You can also catch One News on Signal Play. Register an account now at signalplay.com so you can stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Diego Castro. We are One News. All sides, all the time.